go.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Keeping Up With Conspicuous. I know you've all been waiting for this one very patiently, so thank you so much. And we are joined by our next very special guest, Haajarah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, you're welcome.
Welcome.
Haajarah works for GRIDSERVE within Dynamics Finance and Operations as a support analyst. Well, that's what I believe. So anyway,
Yeah, no, I'm still there. Yeah.
Yeah, so we wanted to have her come on. Obviously, you work with GRIDSERVE, and obviously I work very closely with yourself as well. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on. So I guess we'll start with a little intro. Now, Lucy, obviously, I know you're quite intrigued to hear a little bit more about the background. So I'll let you sort of go and ask a few questions.
I am, yeah. So I know you through Tyla because I know that she helped you with the opportunity for GRIDSERVE. So I just wanted to know a little bit more about your background. So where is it that you sort of came from in terms of previous roles and going into the role that you are now? What's your journey? What's happened along the way?
Let's take it back. So to begin with, I think after I finished uni, because I did quite a general business degree, I could essentially go down so many career routes. So I did actually start off with the marketing side, and I do quite like the excitement of marketing, and I was out in Dubai for a little bit, so that was fun. I know, I love Dubai. And then I came back to the UK, and then I started off at Trainline, and then I kind of fell into the tech side. I feel like I've always had like a passion for it. I think just with my background, and I think back in like the Bebo days when everyone was creating their own skins, and everyone was like, do you remember those days when everyone would create their own backgrounds and everyone would get real techie and all the development side of that? So I've always had that a little bit. And then there was a secondment within the finance team to become the finance systems assistant.
Wow.
So that's when I was introduced to the F&O world, and that's like over 4 years ago now, which is crazy. And I've always been more of a maths girl than English girl at school, so I've always loved the finance side to it. And I guess from then on, that's when the love of Dynamics F&O came around, and I've always wanted to follow that now. So I think this is my third or fourth role still within the Dynamics area, and I am loving it. I think with different kinds of organizations, you start learning about different parts of the system, so it's not as if like, oh, because you do F&O all your roles are going to be the exact same, but they do completely vary depending on the type of organization that you work for. And again, came across lovely Tyla, who helped me get this role at GRIDSERVE, which has now been over a year, which is insane how quickly that has flown. Isn't that mad? And I think again, just like seeing the growth of GRIDSERVE as a business, the business systems team itself. I think when I joined, I was the fifth person in our team, and I believe now we're around 32. And this is just in like the business systems team itself.
Oh my goodness!
Which if you just look at that one team, like the growth of GRIDSERVE is amazing. Like it's definitely inspiring to see how the business is going from strength to strength. So yes, I guess that's a little bit of the background. I didn't think I'd be in Dynamics in the tech world, but here I am. So yeah.
Oh no, I love that. And I mean, so what would you say? I mean, for people that don't know, just would you mind just a summary of like what GRIDSERVE do as a company, and maybe like a quick key points, standout points about the team?
Got you. So I would say GRIDSERVE is like a sustainable energy business, and we are really committed to delivering net zero transport, and hopefully trying to prevent the global temperature rising to exceeding 1.5 Celsius of warming. So that's our main goal. We have like these amazing retail forecourts where people go and obviously charge their electric cars, and you can go in. Yeah, amazing. You can go and get your coffee, wait for your car to charge, do a little bit of shopping. Like it's amazing. And yeah, we are now growing all across the country.
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
yeah, I guess that's a very quick
It's a good
background.
time to be in that industry, isn't it? It's
Say
definitely
again, sorry?
it's a good time to be in that industry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do any of
Your
you
mic
guys?
is a little bit weird, Ty.
Sorry?
Just letting you know, your microphone is a little bit weird today. I don't know what's happening. It's quite hard to hear some words.
Okay,
Yeah.
we will mid-podcast switch to headphones, guys. Never been done before.
Never been done before. Wait, try it again. Oh, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Better.
I think
We'll
that's
go
now
with
better.
that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect.
fine. As long as you can both hear me. Okay,
Yeah.
amazing. Thanks.
That's all right. So I'm quite keen to know, obviously, as you said, you kind of fell into tech. And we had a couple of podcasts ago, we had a Riti from Incremental come on to talk about women in tech. So we've already sort of had a discussion about this. And we know that it can be quite, it depends on the person, I guess. So I'm kind of interested to hear from your experience, but sometimes it can be quite daunting going into IT as a woman sometimes. Some people feel that, some people don't, and they feel confident. But how did you feel from your perspective coming into the IT world or dynamics as a whole?
Do you know what I think really helped is my first manager was a woman herself. So
Okay.
I think that was amazing. So when I did my first secondment as the finance systems assistant, that was with a woman manager, and I think it was just amazing to see as well how um it is now becoming more norm. I'm not sure what the percentages are of like the gender split. Obviously it is still, I would say, more male
Yeah, for
dominated,
sure.
but I do feel like within the last few years there's definitely been a shift. Like I don't feel like the gender split now is too alarming. Or maybe GRIDSERVE are just doing it perfectly, and we've got a really nice split.
I was going to say, actually, what's the split like at GRIDSERVE, and what's your experience been with sort of the woman in tech there?
Yeah, I would say we've got a really good gender split. Again, I can't now with such a large team. I don't know the numbers off head. But I do feel like we've got a really good split at the moment. I don't feel like, oh God, I'm the only woman in
Yeah.
this meeting, which I have done in previous roles. So
Okay.
yeah, so it is nice to have that. Just like more women within
Yeah.
this space. Definitely
So
getting better.
yeah, I know you said that you had a couple of roles before GRIDSERVE within
Yeah.
Dynamics.
Yeah.
So how did you feel within those? Were they like slightly different to GRIDSERVE? Did you have any sort of barriers or sort of any concerns or issues when you were going
Yeah.
into it back in the day?
Yeah, a few years ago. Again, they do vary. I remember in one of my roles, and I'll never forget this conversation where it was me and a couple of other managers. I think it was just like a monthly checkup, and I was just saying that the team does not reflect the this or the what's the word, the diversity of the city that we were in. Because obviously I understand
I
that
love the
there's
way you've worded that.
so
Yeah,
so
yeah.
this was a role that was based in Edinburgh, which obviously there is less diversity up there, but I still felt
Yes.
like in in the team it wasn't mirroring what the diversity was in the city. And
Yeah.
again, it was a meeting with myself and three men, and they said, do you know what, one of them said, I've actually never even thought about how, like,
Ah.
he's never because I said sometimes, like, I walk into the office, and I think when you are from, like, first being a woman, then being a woman of color as well, some things are just in your face, like, are quite obvious. But I guess if coming from like a male perspective, it may be something that doesn't even cross their mind. So I think that was a
Yeah.
really interesting conversation, just to really like open their eyes that, okay, like, I know people say, like, oh, a lot of companies do say that they're trying to be diverse, but are you really, like, is it really matching what the surroundings are? Again, other roles as well. as I said, they've all mainly been like male dominated. I do feel like I've been very lucky, and I've had amazing managers, and again,
Good.
amazing teams as well. Even like the team currently now at GRIDSERVE, I think that's one of the main things, because when you deal with such large companies and when there's a lot of pressure as well, I think your team is what really keeps you going.
Yeah.
So making sure you've got a good team as well, I think that's really pinnacle, and
How do
it just
you,
succeeded.
what sort of one or two ways that you in your team at the moment you can support, how do you support each other in sort of one or two different ways?
Again, because we've got quite a few projects on at the moment, so we'll just say like we have a team, and if anyone has any capacity, we'll just say, okay, guys, I've got a bit of time. How can I help you? Or we do quite a
Oh,
lot of
okay, good.
like maybe like training sessions where if it's like knowledge transfer. So even if
Mm.
someone else on my team, I'm like, okay, do you know what, actually, I can quickly teach them how to do this. Like take a
Yeah,
5 minute. So I say just try and like cross train each other. I think that's
Okay.
really
oh, that's
useful
good.
as well. And
Yeah,
sometimes just to be like an ear, like just for someone to like
yeah.
rant to, because again, like sometimes like the pressure does get a lot.
Mm,
So
mm.
Yeah.
it's nice to have someone who's just okay, they can just listen to you rant for a little bit, just to get it out, and then it's all
Yeah,
back to work. So
Definitely
yeah,
needed
definitely.
sometimes.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I think it's
Well,
all of us.
I think one thing that really came across then about you as a person is I just love the fact that you're open and willing to speak up to your managers. You're
yeah,
Mm,
clearly quite passionate about
yeah.
these areas of diversity and women in
Hmm.
tech, etc. And I think that really
mm.
comes through. And it's quite nice having yourself who is confident for maybe other
Yeah.
viewers who are listening now to see
Hmm.
that having those
Yeah,
conversations, the response you got wasn't, oh my gosh, like what are you on
Yeah.
about, like why are you
Yeah.
mentioning that sort of thing. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't that. You're obviously, it's not to say every manager is going to be the same, you'd like to hope
Yeah.
so, but obviously it's nice to maybe sometimes just speaking up about those things.
Yeah.
It is eye-opening, as you said, like
Hmm.
there's a lot of things to think about in a business, especially as a manager. And sometimes
Correct.
those
mm.
things that may not be important at the time, who are
Yeah.
They
important to other
actually
people
are.
who are working
Mm.
for you are. So,
Yeah.
like,
I think
obviously, did
people
you?
forget as well, diversity just and sort of the women and dynamics and tech piece, it opens up so much knowledge sharing,
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
support, talent retention. Like
Correct. Yeah.
it's not, we're not just sitting down looking at 5 people and how can we like make our hiring better. It's nothing to do with that. It's
Hmm.
actually the knock-on effects as well of what that creates in the environment you're creating, which I think
yeah.
is so important. But sorry, Luce, I interrupted you.
No, it's absolutely fine. I was just going to say, did you find it easy to talk about those topics?
No, I was very nervous when I first raised it, because obviously,
I,
when I think one thing that I've always had in the back of my mind is that I'm always going to be different to everyone else, especially when I was living in Edinburgh and it was definitely not diverse. So I think what you have to do, or like I would always say, just really appreciate your individuality, and
Mm,
use that instead of you looking at it as a bad thing, like, oh my god, I'm the only black woman here. Think of it as,
mm.
actually, do you know what, that's your unique selling point. Like, actually, do you
Yeah,
know what, I
yeah,
am the only black woman here, and I am doing tech as well. So you try and you look at it in a positive way. Again, those conversations are hard, but they need to be more, like, there needs to be more of those conversations, I would say. And
definitely.
then it will get easier for
yeah.
the next generations, and so on. Well, we hope so
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah. So
And
yeah,
I
definitely
guess
not
it's,
easy.
no, exactly. And I think it's all about when you find that right company and you find that company that are willing to listen and there's no judgment and the door's always open, it makes, that's the company you want to work for because they're willing to learn, they're willing to listen, and they're setting an
Yeah.
example to others.
Yeah.
Well, it shouldn't even be set an example, it should just be normal. It shouldn't even be a
Mhm.
thought process. But hey ho,
Yeah.
that's what we have in life
And
now,
I
unfortunately.
also feel like, sorry to cut you there,
No,
Tyler.
no, go for it.
When a company does let you be yourself, I
Mm,
feel like then you become more confident. And I feel like when you are more confident, it then makes you more productive. And it's sort of like
Yeah.
they support you
yeah.
in all work
Mm,
situations.
mm,
Just like even when you go for like random like team nights out and you're able to be yourself. Like, for example, with GridServe, we went on a karaoke night, And I know we had an amazing night, and like still to this day, because I was rapping Nicki Minaj, and still to this day,
I love that.
they mention. I keep telling them I'm a rapper on the weekends. Okay.
Was it super bass? Because that's the one that I can
We
do.
did super bass, but I think
Did you?
the team favorite was Bees in the Trap. I
Oh,
think that
no.
yeah,
Oh,
I love that.
I think that was our team song. If I'm allowed to say that's our team song.
I
So I think
love
stuff
that.
like that, it then means that like when I'm like at work as well, I'm just more confident, and people
Yeah.
are just more accepting, instead of just being like, do you know what?
Yeah.
It's very easy to just keep yourself to yourself, because you'd be like, do you know what? I'm so different. No one's gonna understand me. I'll do my work and get home. But sometimes I feel it's just really nice to have these kind of like bonds or like
Yeah.
friendships in the workplace as well. I think they also help you be more productive.
Absolutely. And have you found, in terms of diversity, have you found over the past few years things have changed in terms of diversity within teams, or
Yeah.
have you not really seen a shift? What's your view at the
I
moment?
have definitely seen a shift. So I think before as well, I would possibly be the only, not just a black woman, but a woman who's not white within like a certain team. But now I'm seeing definitely more of a mix, which is it's really nice to see. Because again, something like F&O, if you have not been introduced to it, like for example, like when I got the secondment, you just don't
Yeah.
know that things like this are out there and they
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah.
So it's not as if like some other people who are more diverse can't get into these roles. They just might not even know about it. So I think it's just like word of mouth and helping each other.
Yeah.
And so I think that's definitely helping break down and allowing more people to be introduced to the tech and dynamic space. Yeah.
Definitely. And what about in terms of, is there anything regarding women in tech or diversity in terms of the future of both? Is there anything you would like to see be changed or continued?
Again, maybe just to do maybe more things like secondments, because again, like I've said, like people just don't even know like these roles are out there, or like these systems even exist. So maybe like these other companies that are utilizing dynamics to allow other people who work within different areas of the business
I
to like
love that.
see
Yeah.
what's going on. I think that would be really good as well.
Yeah. Mm.
Um, just giving more opportunity to everyone. Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely. And this, I mean, you might not have ever thought about this, so it may be a difficult question, but
Okay.
I mean, obviously there are women in tech that have been going out and doing talks, or
Yeah.
joining conferences and saying stuff, or writing blog posts.
Mhm.
Could you see I don't know whether you do anything now, actually, it would be good to know if you do, but do you feel like you would be in a position, I know you're very busy at the moment in your current role, but
Yeah.
do you feel like that's something you would do? Do you feel like
Yeah. No, that sounds
passionate
amazing.
about
Oh, yeah. No, I would love to do something like that if the opportunity came around, or again, if I did have a bit more time.
it?
Yeah. Like even if it's just like meet up groups,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or like talks as well. I think stuff like that would be amazing. To push
So I
the
don't know, do they do just like women conferences? I know that obviously they'll have a few here and there, but I feel like it
yeah.
should be more of a regular thing, like even like
Yeah.
virtual ones of just getting a few women
Yeah,
together.
I
it's true
see more.
actually.
Yeah. And I see more and more about women in dynamics every year. It's sort of
Yeah,
the publicity increases and people seem to get more involved, which is good.
definitely. Yeah.
Um, in terms of future plans then, for
Mhm.
yourself
Yeah.
and then also sort of your team within GridServe and Pathway within GridServe,
Yeah.
what future plans? What have you got in mind?
So I want to just I do really like the dynamic space that I'm in.
Mm.
So I guess it's just to be an expert at dynamics, whether that's going down like the consultant route, or like
Yeah.
the business analyst route as well. They're both kind of routes that I'm possibly looking at career wise, which are both really exciting. But I just
Oh,
want a
amazing.
bit more confidence within the dynamic space, and because there's so many different modules within the
Yeah.
system itself, just to try and be
Mm,
more
mm.
confident within those spaces, and then
Yeah.
hopefully try to enhance my career with
At
one of those
GridServe,
routes. Yeah.
sorry to interject,
No,
just
no.
while I remember. At GridServe, what modules do you kind of focus on within F&O?
A lot. Like procurement and sourcing, accounts payable, receivable,
Oh wow, okay.
fixed assets.
Oh, a lot then.
No, a lot of them. I
Yeah.
think it's probably less that we don't use than we do use. Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Amazing.
exciting. And
Yeah.
I guess obviously with yourself and your journey, I know you mentioned about like the consultant routes, etc.
Yeah.
So, or business analyst. Do you feel like that is a plan or route you're going to go down? And do you feel like
Yeah.
you have the resources and sort of guidance to help you do so?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like my manager right now she's really on board with trying to help me with like career enhancements. And again, I think at the
Brilliant.
moment, just because we've got quite a few big projects on, it's just trying to find that time again,
Yes.
just to be more disciplined and blocking out time in my calendar and being like, okay, this is my training time. No one disturb me. But yeah, no, definitely, I'm being supported on that with the career path that I'm looking to go down. Yeah.
Good.
It's so
It
nice to hear like a positive
it
journey.
is.
Do you know
It
what I
really,
mean? Like
honestly, it
it's
makes
so
me so
refreshing.
happy. Yeah,
That's
because I think
yeah.
people think we're all about, like, as recruiters, they think we're all about money and that. And a lot
Yeah.
of what me and Luce have always tried to do is show that actually we couldn't care less about any of that.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like it's about helping people, especially with all the redundancies recently. So
Yeah.
I'm happy
Yeah.
that
Same.
you're happy. But what I was going to say is,
Yeah.
in terms of when you mentioned making a transition for sort of from support eventually to consultancy or BA role, is there any sort of advice? I know you haven't made that transition yet, but is there
Yeah.
any advice you would give to anyone moving into a support role now with an aim to move into that route in the future? What can they do to sort of make that possible? And is there any advice you've got for them?
Yeah. I would say try and get involved in everything. Because again, there's a few different departments, even like within our team as well. So say for example, we've got someone who specializes in procurement. So try and
Okay.
have some time with like whoever is managing the procurement side. If you've
Yeah.
got someone who mainly focuses on tax, maybe have some time with the tax as well, just to get a good understanding of everything that you can do within the system. I think that will
Mm.
then really help you with the support as well.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's really good advice
Yeah.
actually, because I think people can get so settled in their role, can't they? That is pure
Mm.
True.
tunnel vision, like this is my
Yeah.
job, this is what I've got to do. But actually
Yeah.
having those conversations could make the world of difference. And if you've said
Yeah.
Definitely.
benefits from it,
Yeah.
why
100%.
not?
Yeah.
Why not? I
Yeah.
know that one of our viewers, Charlie, he's just put a lovely, inspiring journey. I'm glad to see a shift. The community for Dynamics and Power Platform is awesome and trying to tackle
Yeah.
any barriers. I think what would be awesome is if you managed to organise those meetup groups that you mentioned.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, that would be
Yeah.
maybe
brilliant.
maybe we could. I think, to be fair, me and Tyler, we could definitely put together like a
Yeah.
meetup of some women in tech and put together a little girly evening
I
somewhere.
think we should
Maybe
do it. Yeah.
I
I
think
think
we
we
should.
should. We'll
Yeah.
have to talk after this and put some plans in
Honestly.
place and
Yeah.
just get everyone
And
together.
yeah,
I think,
exactly. Even groups and things on LinkedIn where people can share like tips and advice as well is really
Yeah.
good.
Mhm.
Um, and there's so, Dynamics is only, especially in the F&O space, I know that not only partners and end users like GRIDSERVE,
Yeah.
obviously the technology is expanding and there are more people adopting the tech. So I
Yeah.
think it's
yeah.
important to keep it up. So yeah, I mean, we've all got to take a leaf out of your book, Tara. um,
Do
definitely.
you
Yeah.
do you think there are any sort of final points that you want to get across to everyone viewing today that we sort of haven't covered, or
Yeah.
is there anything else to sort of wrap up with?
I would just say, take any opportunity you can, because had I not gone for that secondment, I never would be here. So even if you think like, okay, because I think sometimes, again, just maybe sometimes like being a woman, I know they always say like women don't always apply for jobs if they don't tick all the
Mm,
all the
Yeah, we see that.
requirements.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, whereas it's like actually sometimes just go for it and then you never know. And also just use your uniqueness as a
yeah,
positive as well. Use that as your unique selling point, I would say,
I love
as
that.
opposed to looking at it as a bad thing.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, those are the main things.
Oh, you
Absolutely.
are
Oh,
genuinely really
so good.
inspiring, and I think your
Thank you.
journey is like, I literally wish you all the best, and I know that you'll be successful, because it
Thank
sounds
you
like you
so
know
much.
exactly what you're doing, and yeah,
I hope
I'm
so, yeah.
sure.
I'm sure we'll keep in
I'm
touch
We know
anyway.
so.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the growth journey, because I reckon you could go far in the dynamics industry
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, you know, guys, please, obviously, if you've got any questions, pop them in now, because we are sort of starting to wrap up the podcast. But also, please do check out GRIDSERVE if you're in the dynamic space of future hiring, but also Haajarah herself. Have a look on her LinkedIn. I'm sure she'll like some extra followers and to grow her network. Yeah, but amazing.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I don't think anyone sort of commented any further questions. But obviously, what we do at the end, that always sounds funny, doesn't it? What we do. At the end of the podcast, if you do have any questions, just pop them in the comments. Myself, Tyla, or Haajarah will be happy to just sort of comment back and let you know our thoughts or opinions or answer any questions. But honestly, I think it's been so nice. As we said, like, we haven't had someone who we've sort of placed in a role and ourselves and spoken to them. Obviously, for me, it wasn't me that placed you, it was Tyla, but just seeing how you've grown is just, it's so good. And I think you've definitely got across a few really important points that might slip the net sometimes. And I hope in the future those things don't slip the net at any given chance. But yeah, I think it's been great, and it's been so lovely to meet you and speak to you.
Thank you both for having me on. It's been fun.
Technically, I'm meeting you, because I've only ever spoken to you on the phone, so it's nice to put a face to the name.
There you go.
Although you're probably bored of seeing mine all over LinkedIn, like I'm sure so many people are. Get off.
Not at all. Well, I think that's it for today, guys. Obviously, thank you, Haajarah, for coming on. It's been lovely having you.
Thank you.
We're obviously back in, I was about to say next week. We're not. The week after, because we do every other week. Well, we'll have another guest come on, and we'll catch you all then.
Perfect. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you so much, everyone. Thanks.
See you later, guys.
Bye.